Hello everyone, Josh here with X's Network, bringing y'all another first impression video. And as I said in my last Ezetta prophecy video where we covered the global pre-registration, if that video did well enough, we were going to go ahead and do a first impression. So I thank y'all so much for the support on that video. I am actually kind of in shock a little bit of how well that video actually did, considering this game is kind of really floating really far under the radar. Now we are currently in the last CBT, from my understanding, so hopefully, in the next few weeks, we'll be getting more news on the actual global release date, or even the global launch in its entirety. So we'll have to see what happens with that, but I'm going to go ahead and do a first impression about, a little bit showing the gameplay, some of the aesthetics, talking a little bit about the sound, the animation, some of the things that I feel are a bit more unique and creative with this game compared to some other turn-based games that are out right now on the market, because they definitely went with more of a creative art style, which I do enjoy. It's more of that cartoony look, more of that toon look, I should say. Not so much that anime style or that Western style like Raid, IMR, and Ace that we're kind of used to here as of late with a lot of these turn-based releases. So I do appreciate that they went a little bit, outside the box, got a little bit more creative, and we got what we got. So I do like that. We're going to be talking a little bit about the gameplay, some of the other aspects of the game, like some of the content that's available. There is tons of content available already in the game. The game looks pretty polished as well. The animations are pretty smooth. So we're going to go through all that good stuff and more. And as we always do at the end of the video, I'll be giving you my final grade out of 10 overall, what I feel about the game during this first impression. And then you guys and gals can let me know in the comment section below as well what you would grade the game yourselves based on what you see in today's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is something that we usually don't do in a first impression, but I'm going to go ahead and summon right off the bat, because why not? Let's see what kind of cool characters we can pull. Now, this game has a very limited pool of characters right now, because the game is still in CBT, obviously, so they don't have a ton of different units, but from what I've seen so far with playtesting some of these heroes, there are quite a bit of decent epic heroes and some decent legendaries as well. So there is a mix of the two, which I do appreciate. But let's go ahead and do a 10 pull. So it's 2,000. Now this is a mixed rate banner. That means you will have... Oh, look, we pulled a Crawford right off the bat. Okay. All right, there we go. We got an Aurora. I will butcher some of these names, by the way. We got a Treem. So that is our legendary hero. But as I said, this is a mixed gacha, because you are going to be getting weapons and you will be getting characters. So I know some of you are a little bit, a Debbie Downer on that, and I completely understand, because I'm not the biggest fan of mixed gachas either. I prefer to just pull for heroes. I like hero collectors for the gacha aspect, and I like the gear and the weapons and stuff like that to be separate, either in its own banner, obviously, or just farmable through different content in the game. But it is what it is. The rates, I believe, are like 2.5%. Let me go ahead and take a quick look here again. Yeah, so the rates to pull a legendary, that's weapon or hero, is 2.5%. Epic is 20%. Wow, 77.5 for an epic would be insane. Weapons, rare is 77.5. So there you go. It is what it is. Like I said, it is a mixed gacha. But at least it has a pretty decent pity for the legendary, because it is only 80 draws, and you are guaranteed at least an epic hero or weapon every multi. And that's not just if you do a multi. You could do 10 singles and it'll do the same thing. If you get 9 bad pulls in a row, the 10th one will be an epic. So keep that all in mind. That is the summoning mechanic in the game. And the the animation, it could be a little bit better. It's kind of plain, it's kind of generic. But at least you'll know right off the bat if you got a legendary or not, because it'll either be purple or it'll be gold when you do your multis, and you'll know right away if you pulled something potentially really, really good. So that is summons. Let's go through some of the UI elements. Top left, you got your character information, you got your avatar, obviously your name, your level. You can even go into the general settings, yada, 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 link your account, all that good stuff and more. You got your mailbox here, your mail. Obviously, if they got to push any kind of rewards or anything, or they got to give you some kind of in-game notice, that's where it'll go. You have the in-game chat and friends list. I'm not going to really cover that too much. That's pretty standard. Over on the right side, we have your gold, we have your premium currency, your gems, which of course we just use for summons. You can also use that for some shop items. we have bonuses right now. Right now we have a daily sign-in bonus. We get a legendary hero and rich rewards. Currently, I'm getting ready to do day 5 tomorrow for a Shard Fairy. Got a Necromancer staff on day 6, and then we get a Lakshmi, which is a legendary hero on day 7 for free, which is nice. We have some questionnaires for rewards as well if you are using the mobile version of the game. I'm on the PC version right now, so I can't fill these out yet. But we have some other little, you know, events and stuff like that going on. And funny enough, me and Gherky are number 1 and 2 in the game right now in terms of main quest championship. That's actually hilarious. I'm number 1 right now, and Gherky is number 2. So shout out to X's Network. We are dominating the CPT, even though that means nothing in the long run, but it is kind of nice to see that. That is actually hilarious. I did not even know that until right now. So I'm currently on 312 a story. Gherky's on 243. So we have adventure rewards as well, arena awards, weapon forge rewards, hunt the fissure, which is an event that's going on right now. So there's a few things there to do between the events and some of the bonus rewards that they're offering. We also have this 8-day event going on right now that has 6 days and 21 hours left, which every day unlocks new missions that you can complete to receive additional rewards. We have the shop, obviously. You have the recommended shop, the gift shop. You have your weekly packs, your monthly packs, etc., etc. We have daily missions, and then we have weekly missions. You know, pretty standard in games like this. Obviously, we'll get to the adventure mode in a moment because that's where a lot of the content is. So let's go down here to the bottom left. Oh, actually, I forgot to talk about the Gacha tree. The Gacha tree is kind of like a built-in idol system for the game to give you additional idol rewards, which you can upgrade and stuff when you get these certain materials, like these Gacha tree branches. You can level that up and get additional rewards. This is also a good place to farm up some of your shards for some of your heroes that you're trying to get dupes for, to give them additional bonus stats and stuff like that. That's kind of what the dupe system is for in this game, and it does, again, use a shard system. So there is a shard system in this game, so keep that all in mind. You can also just click this if you'd like and just collect some of the idol rewards right there. So there's a nice little idol feature there that can also farm up some shards for you, and you can upgrade that over time. We also have the play shop, which has the maze shop. We'll talk about the maze briefly when we get to that. The arena shop, and then of course the guild shop. There are guilds in this game and guild wars, except guild wars are a bit different in this game because it's not, you know, player versus player. It's players versus bosses, which is a little interesting twist, if you will, on your standard guild wars. So, okay. Now, down here, bottom left, we have the hero panel. This is where you're going to be seeing all the heroes in the game, including the ones we don't own. I own every hero, looks like, except for 5. So we're missing just 5 legendaries. Some of these characters have really cool designs. You can fully rotate them as well. You can look at all their skills. Now, this game allows you to have 6 skills on your character. You can only bring 4 at a time, though. But that adds a whole other layer of strategy because now you have 6 available skills. They can level each up 4 times, and you can mix and match with whatever type of content you're trying to do, which is very cool. So I like that. And they're usually 2 completely different styles of skills as well. Like this one is using impact abilities. This one's using thunder abilities. We have ones that do water, fire, poison, burn, etc., etc. Matter of fact, my main DPS right now, Agaris, he is a fire DPS, but he also has cut damage. So it's very cool how that how you can incorporate a lot of different things. Like no single character has to be the same as another player's character, even though they're the same characters. You can build them differently through their skills and their talents to make them go, you know, kind of be built differently, essentially. I mean, I don't know what other word to use except for being different. So I like that. Again, it adds another level of strategy to the game, which I greatly appreciate. You can also see what type of characters they are. You got like your standard, you know, attacker here. You have your tank here. You have your archers here. You have your mages here, and you have your healer supports here. So there you go. And by the way, Camellia is a very, very powerful healer, and she's free. You get her right off the bat. So that's really cool. And this guy here, Ernest, he has an AoE defense break that you also get right off the bat. And you can see he's the only character so far that I've actually unlocked a 3rd skill on out of the 6 available. So again, you can have up to 4 skills at once, but you can technically build 6 of them out and mix and match depending on what type of content you're trying to do and when those skills are required for use. So very cool. And there's also leader abilities, which we'll get to in a moment. You can also go ahead and do that. You can see what his rating is. You could rate them in the game. Some people, you know, might rate them randomly. I wouldn't look at this at all, obviously, because people could rate them poorly just because of the way they look. Like, I've seen so many games like, oh, look, she's a waifu. Let's go and rate her 5 out of 5 and everything. Like, I hate when that happens. So I wouldn't always look at the in-game rating system for help there, but people do it. We also have a filter down here if you want to filter by quality and level. We have additional filters here, so it is what it is. Gear, you can have up to 6 pieces of gear. Right now, I'm running 3 different sets of gear. I'm running 2 anger sets, which give you crit plus 8%, and attack set right now that gives you 10%. So you can see here, that's just some of what the gear sets look like. We got 6 pieces. That's, you know, it's pretty standard. You can see your gear attributes over here on the right side, and whatever bonuses you're getting down here with your masteries. Because like I said, there's a lot of elements in this game. You got nature, thunder, poison. You have healing mechanics. You have water. You've got fire. You know, it's just so much that is going into the stats right now. It's actually insane. We have weapons. This is the weapons that you can actually pull from the banners alongside the characters. They all do different things, and if you have 2 of the same one, you can go ahead and enhance it and advance it. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it happened that way. So as you can see, we could just, you know, boom, boom. We could do that one more time, and then we could do that one more time to fully max it out. And so you're going to be able to do that with your epic weapons and your legendary weapons as well. So you definitely want to, you know, it's not a bad thing to always pull those because they could greatly help you out because they're going to give you big stat bonuses, obviously, for your characters. And sometimes they even give you additional effects and skills like that. So, you know, you definitely want to pay mind to those because some of them are going to be really, really good. We also have promote. This is where you're going to be able to level up your characters. Now, leveling up your characters is dictated by your account level, and I think they do it in waves of 5. I'm assuming, I think that's what it was last I checked. I think when me and Gherky were talking, I believe it was like in levels of 5. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and ascend him. So now he'll be able to go to max level 40. This is basically a limit break, is what they call ascension in this game. And then we go ahead and level him up. We're going to use a bunch of gold here. We got him to level 30. You can see he got more stat increases, etc., etc. Then we also have activate. This is where you're going to be using your dupes. And you can see here, we need 10 shards every time we activate a new node. And all these nodes give different stats. And when you max out all those nodes, he's going to star up 1. Okay? And then you got to do that 4 more times. So you're going to need a lot of shards to fully max them out. And when you do start unlocking these stars, you start gaining these additional stats or skill bonuses. So for example, with Ernest, if I got 3 more dupes fed, I'm sorry, 30 more shards fed into him, and my level activation became 1, and I got that 1 star, when killing a target, there is a 60% chance to target the enemy with the lowest HP as the primary target and trigger the killing skill once again. And then the next one will give me a 5% HP attack and defense increase, etc., etc. And then you also have talents. This again is where I said is going to be kind of like a path that you can really just change up the way your character is built and designed and make you stand out a little bit from other players, because everybody might choose to go down different paths and build out their heroes differently and unlock different skills and different stats, etc., depending on what you're trying to do, at least in the early parts of the game. So that's very, very cool there. So that is everything about heroes in the panel there. Now we have team building. Obviously, as I said, there is leader abilities. So for example, my Ernest has a leader ability, so I have him in the leader slot. The other 3 slots, it doesn't seem like it matters, because I thought maybe if I put tanks in the front or something like that, that it would matter. It really did not matter at all. It seems like they're just hitting randomly anyway. The only one that really mattered was the leader spot in the front. Not all heroes have a leader ability, and when they do have a leader ability, you need to see what the leader skill requires to even activate. So if we go up here, we have Ernest as our leader. And what is his leader ability? If there are 2 Lava Guild heroes, which is the faction, in the team, the whole team gains 0.5 BP at the start of the battle and increases all allies' attack by 10%. Well, we are running Hank and we are running Ernest in our team. These are both free-to-play heroes that you get at the beginning of the game as well. I do not have Sigrid yet, and I'm not running Stolas. So these 2 heroes being in the team is the requirement, because I only need 2. So those being in the team allows me to have a 10% attack increase for my whole team. So it works out perfectly, because my healer somewhat scales on her first ability that I already have to attack for her healing. Obviously, my DPS is scaling to attack. My Ernest is scaling a little bit to attack. even with his defense down. And then, of course, my tank, it really doesn't matter. He's just there to be bulky and, of course, allow the leader skill to activate. We also have skill settings up here. As I said, you could have 4 abilities at a time. You can have 6 fully built out, I suppose, depending on, you know, how you want to build your units. And then when you go into auto, when you actually unlock auto, which will be later in chapter 1, I think it's like a third of the way through chapter 1 or halfway through. I can't remember off the top of my head. But when you beat that much into chapter 1, you will unlock auto mode. And then you can just set up auto, and we'll show you that in the gameplay when we get there in a moment. So that is the team setup. Pretty standard stuff there, right? I mean, you can just go ahead and, you know, remove her, then put her back in, you know, whatever. You can also go right to the hero panel right from there if you'd like. Go back, boom. We have the bag, all the different stuff in here. You got shards, you've got your potions and other items, and then you got other random items like awakening materials and stuff like that. So it's just all your different materials. You got your consumables, you got your gear, and you got your weapons. So, and keep that in mind, weapons and gear are separate, okay? Weapons are summonable from banners. Maybe they'll add them in events and stuff too, and from other areas. I can't fully remember off the top of my head. And then obviously gear, you can farm up gear. So that is that. We have guild. Obviously, we have the guild info, the members, me and Gherky obviously in our own guild right now. And Guild War, as I said, is literally a fight against bosses. Individual bosses that you gotta fight, like these mini bosses, and then you get to the big boss. So, for example, if I beat Lord of Deflagration, I don't know. And then we're gonna fight Eternal Greed Hyrus. So that'll be the next one. You can also simulate the battle, which isn't gonna waste any of your tries, and then you can do the actual combat when you're ready to go in and you're confident to win. So it's very cool there. And we also have a ranking for damage there, which is cool too. And with all the different difficulties all the way up to 5. We also have the damage ranking of single battle and total damage. So very cool there. Kind of lets guild members flex a little bit there, especially if they're wailing out when the game does officially release. So we'll get to that later. We got trophies. This is where you're just going to get a bunch of different rewards from completing different achievements, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to spend too much time on that. Relics, again, additional materials that you're going to be able to farm up and level up. They're going to give you different benefits to your account overall as well. There's sun, moon, and star, or you can just click all and view all of them. So that is all of that good stuff. So let's go into the adventure, just so we can quickly look at all the content real quick. We have the main quest. This is the story mode. Now, the story mode is kind of broke up into a few different things, because bounty tasks are actually in the story mode maps itself. There's also little chests that are kind of roaming around that you can open up. You can use WASD and move around with a joypad if you're on PC. Obviously, if you're on mobile, you're just going to be using your thumb. Or if you're on an emulator, you could probably set up for WASD as well. You got your fissure, which show up on the map sometime as well, and that's also currently an event going on right now. We have raids, which will give you gears and promote materials, and that'll show you how much stamina you have. Like right now, I have 47 out of 80 stamina available right now for raids. I have 18 out of 80 stamina available right now for bounty task. Bounty task also level up your popularity or your reputation in a map, and when you get it high enough, it'll let you go further in story. So a lot of that stuff's tied in together too. Battle of Hyrus, this is again what we just talked about. This is your guild war, essentially. Maze is one of those dungeons where you go in, you defeat an enemy, and then you can get an artifact that you can choose from that'll benefit your team. I think you get 3 different options, and then you choose it to strengthen your team, and then you go to the next fight, and the next fight, until you get through the entire dungeon. I believe there's like 3 floors per dungeon. I don't want to spend too much time on that in this video though, because it would take me 10 to 15 minutes to clear one maze. So I don't want to do that in this video, but that's more or less kind of what that mode is doing. Tower is a little bit different in this game than some games. You know, obviously you got your normal floors that you're going to go through and climb all the way up. There's 34 floors in total right now. However, there's also a secondary aspect to each floor. They want you to try and get as high of a score as possible by doing these conditions. Trigger conduction, twice get 1,000 points. End the battle in 2 rounds, you get 1,000 points. Total damage and how quick you end the fight, and other other little things that they do for scoring within the fight. You want to try and get 4,100 so you get a 3-star clear, because if you don't get a 3-star clear, you don't get the 3-star reward. You're only going to get the 1-star reward or the 2-star reward, or you're just going to lose and not clear it at all. But thankfully, it doesn't use stamina from what I can tell, which is very, very good. So basically, you can go into this as many times as you want and try again and again and again, and the conditions will change and the scoring requirements will change as well. So that's very cool. So that's the tower. And then, of course, we got your prototypical arena. We're fighting a lot of bots right now. We're in CBT. I don't expect too many real players. I'm not sure when we would run into a real player or not. But you can see here, this is just your prototypical. Right now, we're Silver 5. We're at 1,340 out of 1,499 for our points to level up. We also got monthly wins. You get enough wins, you start getting these arena tokens, which you can exchange at the arena shop. You have arena shop, tier info, and defensive team. You can set up your defensive team. You have your battle record. You have your rankings, etc., etc. Right now, I'm ranked 25 in the game. Let me go ahead and just go into this fight. We're going to fight Nightblade, Silver 5. This is my team for pretty much everything right now. So I guess it's a good showing of what a fight looks like, too. Alright, so right here. This is the auto function when you do unlock it. So as you can see, we can just cancel auto completely to where they will not use our skills. The way this game's combat works is they will attack automatically with just their inherent abilities. But to use their skills themselves, you either have to activate them manually yourself, or you can set them to auto, or you could do a mix of both, essentially. You could just set up to where you're only using one skill or both skills. You can also set up the order you want to use them in, like I just did here, where I'm setting up the first skill to go first, the second skill to go second. You can reset that. We can make that one go first, that one go second. Or we could just set up for auto for just one and not use the other skill at all. So depending on what you're trying to do on auto, or if you want to do a manual, or if you want to do a mixture of the two, it's nice. So we're just going to go ahead and turn these all to auto right now. Just let them go fully with everything, and just let it go. So if you're trying to set up like Ernest to use a defense break first, you can set that up before he uses his other ability. If you want your boy Hank to use his taunting ability first before anything else, you can set that up. So, you know, you have a lot of freedom there with the actual auto function, which is really cool. So we just ranked up there. Oh, no, we didn't rank up. We just won the fight. I don't know why I thought I ranked up. No, we're still Silver 5. But that's essentially PvP in a nutshell. I'm sure I'll get it more complex later on as we get into, like, real people fights. But let's go back to the main quest real quick, and let me show you why some of these things also tie into this. So this is what the story mode maps look like, and as you can see, we have a few different things, and you see these wild, like, enemies on the map. These are bounties, so you can actually fight them, and it'll tell you how much reputation points you're getting and what your suggested level is and what your reward's going to be. And you can see what your stamina is. I have 18 stamina. It tells you how much the next recovery will be. The full recovery time will be 18.5 hours almost. So let's go in and battle this. It's going to cost us 10. Let's go and battle this enemy. And we have 2x speed up here. You can turn it on or off. You can see your turn meter on the right side. You can also target enemies, obviously, if you like. You can even see the enemy team and your team's buffs and debuffs when they're applied or activated. You can see what the enemy's HP, or I'm sorry, what the enemy's level is. I'd like for them to be able to show me more of the enemy's information in terms of stats. I really miss that from a lot of these games. I would love to see that information because I'm a statistician, I'm an analyst. I like to see these things in game when I'm setting up strategies and team builds. So I'd like to have that. In this is you can just kind of see what all the type advantages and disadvantages really are. Really, there isn't no disadvantage, which is really interesting. The way they did this is just basically every element essentially has its own little quirk. Instead of just a straight up, oh, you're going to do 20% less damage or more damage, etc., like a type disadvantage or advantage chart usually does, the weakness mechanism in this game is just basically, hey, every element is going to have its own little quirk. So it's definitely different from the norm. I have to give them credit for that. Very unique and interesting, but you can look more into that if you like. We got our waves up here in the top left. We have 2 waves to get through. We're on wave 1 right now. All of our enemies are on auto. And like I said, you could target these. You could play more manual if you like. We can just completely turn auto off if you want to. And when you do that, you watch that little yellow bar at the bottom, and when that's full, you can use a skill. And then when you use a skill, it goes into this, like, slow-mo mode, which is really cool. You can select what skill you want, which enemy you want to target, and then you can just pop it. So we're going to just go ahead and pop that right here. I don't know why it's not letting me use it. Am I clicking something wrong here? Why is it not? I'm supposed to be able to use this on my own heroes. I don't know why it's not letting me use this. I'm not sure what's going on here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. It's like the skill's bugged or something. Anyway, so you get the idea, right? I don't know why it's not letting me leave the screen. I think we froze, ladies and gentlemen. I think we froze. There we go. We got it off. Okay, good. I did not want to have to remake this video or put a big cut in there, so I'm glad we got through that. I don't know what's going on with that skill. But anyway, that's more or less kind of how it works. And as you can see, we're on round 2 now of all, that means all of our units have went at least once going into their second turns. So we're going to go and get through that wave. Now we're going to go into wave 2. And you can see your hero's HP down here at the bottom. Like our Hank is at 1388 out of 2442. You can see, again, you can see some of the buffs and debuffs on them above their HP right there. You can see the enemies' HP available as well. You can see what their weaknesses that they currently have. Right now they have nature weakness on them. 2, 2, and 1. So, again, the weakness system is definitely interesting in this game. They definitely tried to step up a little bit with being unique and creative with the gameplay itself and adding an extra layer, I would say. So I really like it. In the animations, we haven't really talked much about the animations and the artwork. Like, they're fluid. They look very solid. I actually do greatly like it. I'm not the biggest THEONE fan in the world, right? I'm more of that anime guy or that Western style, but I do appreciate this. It came out looking really good. I think the enemies are what is really the selling point to me, because the enemies look really incredible. So that's pretty much what you have going on here. We got a fissure that appeared, so we can go fight the fissures. You got to beat all these enemies. They have a gem total above their head. You got to get 9 to get to the fissure boss and then beat it. And then that'll get through that. So there's that. And this is what the maps look like. As I said, there's some things on the map that you can actually open and break. So we're going to go hit this barrel. So you definitely want to pay attention to these. Sometimes you have good items in them. But I believe this is Chapter 2. Chapter 3 is over here somewhere. We'll have to look at it later. But yeah, it's really cool. It reminds me a little bit of like Super Mario World back in the day, where you're just going from like one little spot on the map to the next. Kind of funny. There's not too much dialogue in this game. You can skip pretty much all of it. Now, there are puzzles. Some of the dungeons that you have to clear to get through all the story chapters, there will be dungeons. As a matter of fact, I'll take you there real quick before we end the video. So, this is 312, and it's a dungeon. And you can, like I said, you can WASD, walk around. We're going to go through here. We can leave, or we can keep going. And you can read that stuff. I usually skip that stuff if you don't need it. There's little puzzles here. There's movable objects. You just got to kind of work your way around the dungeon, get all the chests, and then you leave. You fight the dungeon boss itself at the end, and then you leave, and then boom, you go to the next stage. So sometimes in the story mode, you're going to be fighting dungeons. Sometimes you're just going to be doing a little quick dialogue that you can skip. Sometimes you're just going to be fighting enemies right there on the map. So it's a mixed bag of a lot of different things when it comes to the actual story mode. And like I said, bounties are on there that walk around. The fissures are on there. So you got a few different game modes that are kind of intertwined in the actual story mode itself. But again, all the dialogue you can skip. So if you're not a big storyline player like me, you can just skip all that crap and you're fine. But that's pretty much going to be it for me in this first impression. I think we've shown enough. Like I said, there's a lot of different game modes that you can explore. But more or less, it's going to be what we've already shown, just in different, settings and different rewards that you can obtain, obviously. But there's a lot of stuff to do, guys. The game looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and give this game an 8 out of 10 because for this being in CBT and how polished it looks, how much content is available already is very surprising to me and very encouraging going forward. The only thing that I would like to ask the developing team and the publishers going forward is maybe market the game a little bit more, because I feel like the game is a bit under the radar right now. But outside of that, it looks really, really good. I'd love to continue playing this game on the channel. If you guys want to see more from Ezetta Prophecy, let me know in the comment section below. Is this a game that's going to be on your radar as well going forward? Are you going to keep an eye on it, follow it? Pre-registration is available for global, as we said in our last video. And that video did very well, above expectations. So thank you all so much. And because of that, we basically were able to do this first impression. So there you go. I know I talked really fast. I just wanted to get through it. There's a lot to cover. But that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys all enjoy. Let me know what your rating is for the game in the comment section below. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, take notifications, and join us in the Discord in the description below as always. And follow us on Twitter @ExusNetwork. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.